Dark, dusty and suitably spooky, is how many would remember the King's Cross Waxworks, first opened in the heart of what was a lively central hub in 1960s Sydney. The waxworks opened in 1967 in King's Cross Village Centre in Springfield Avenue, a spot described as having a European feel with an outdoor cafe culture, a big draw card for visitors. The figures were supplied and franchised by Madame Tussauds' famous wax museum in London, using real human hair imported from Italy and beeswax hardened with a secret chemical compound. When it first opened, school groups toured the exhibits, some of which left lasting, and in some cases, disturbing memories. The Algerian hook exhibit depicting a form of torture was unforgettable, according to one member of the Lost Sydney Facebook page. Part of the waxworks was dedicated to ancient forms of torture. It was really creepy as a little kid. I loved it and I loved the cross and still do to this day, the post read. A souvenir guidebook shows photos of dioramas ranging from the Beatles to Queen and Prince Philip with Prime Minister Robert Menzies, but it was the horror scenes and partial nudity that left the most powerful impressions. There was a display depicting the last shark attack at a Sydney beach, Balmoral, I think. Very gruesome. One person commented. Odd sliding doors and secret stairways which were tricky and confusing to navigate, said another. Vanessa Berry, author of the book and blog Mirror Sydney, said when the village centre was first established, King's Cross had a reputation as a very cosmopolitan part of Sydney. You could go to a cafe there and have a cappuccino sitting outside, which now does seem like a very revolutionary or exciting thing perhaps, but back then that was how things worked, she said. It was a place that had a very strong European cafe cultural centre influence, so that's one of the reasons people went to King's Cross. The waxworks were part of the unique cultural landscape which featured many unusual kinds of theme parks and amusement parks in Sydney from the 60s through to the 90s, Ms. Berry said. There were ones like the African Lion Safari, Bully's Animal World, Australia Village, Paradise Gardens. Another one that was popular was Old Sydney Town near Gosford, but a lot of them were not in the centre of the city, a lot were in the suburbs, she said. It was a particular era of entertainment that now has pretty much passed, but if you were watching TV in the 1980s you could escape the ads for El Cabullo Blanco or African Lion Safari. Manager Nanette Rudge defended the museum's content to the ABC's This Day Tonight program in an interview from 1967. With the Algerian hook for instance, the children won't see it because it's in darkness, unless they press a button then they can see it, she said. This scene with a breast exposed, Salome, well we want authenticity, and these are the clothes of the period, so if the children are coming in they're going to see the authentic clothes of the period. Cameron White remembers visiting the waxworks when he was a child, so he asked Curious Sydney to investigate what happened to the wax figures. I think we even went on a school excursion as well, but I remember going with my parents, he said.